So before we begin, I'm going to ask you to please go and watch my 3.19 settings video. A lot of those settings in there are going to help you out tremendously when it comes to turret gunning. Not just the hotkeys, just the sliders and various settings. Trust me on this one, guys. You're going to want to do that. Alright, here we are in the turret of a Hurricane. It's a standard turret, non-remote. All turrets are generally the same with a few different nuances. But what is the same? Turning on the power. All turrets must have power. So, we look down, this will be different in all ships. We turn the power on. We now have control of the turret. So the very first thing I like to do when I'm into a turret is I like to make sure everything's working, I move it around. I enable my gyro mode. If you look down to the lower left, you can see the gyro is now on. That allows for accurate, independent movement, regardless of where the ship is going. So if the ship was going hard to the center, and I am aiming to the right, I will maintain my aim as close as possible on that Grimhex medical sign, okay? Same thing if he was going forward and I was aiming at the Ninetails side right there, same thing. So, the second thing is going to be relative mode versus VJoy. And this is probably one of the most important things about turret gunning. A lot of people get this confused. You do not aim one or the other. You do not just use virtual joystick, and you do not just use relative. You use both. So, let's say I do want to target that Ninetails logo right there. I kind of overshot it a bit, right? Let's try it again. Let's go all the way around. And we've acquired it, and we want to aim at it. It's a little finicky, right? But if I told you there's a better way, that's where relative mode comes in. So, let's say I was trying to do this with relative mode. I'll show you, though, first. If I'm aiming here, I gotta move my mouse, and this is a lot more precise, but I require a lot more desk space, and I require a lot more movement. So if I wanted to turn, say, all the way from here, look at this, I have to keep picking my mouse up and moving it in there. Versus, let's say I was in VJoy, I could do that kind of turn, and now I'm there, and I locked it. How did I do that? I locked it. What did I do? Activated relative mode. This is the secret sauce of turret gunnery, right here. Whenever you want to hit your target, let's say it's this Ninetails logo, you have to acquire it first. You want the speed of virtual joystick, right here, and you want the precision of relative mode for fine-tuned aiming. This drill is something you're going to use commonly in PvP. So I'm going to show it to you one more time. We have VJoy, we're turning around, we're moving, we know the target is over here, we go to the target, enter relative mode, and now we're there, we're aiming at the center. And this is how we do our fine precision aiming. The last key I'm going to give you is going to be centering and aligning. If you hold C, it aligns you with the forward front of the ship. Okay? Whatever the pilot's looking at. So if you're communicating with your pilot and he says something forward, and you're looking back here, just hold C. And now the front of the ship looking forward. Pretty cool stuff. We'll show that in combat in a little bit. But first, let's go over to the remote turrets. Alright, here we are in the gunner seat of a Scorpius. Scorpius is a remote turret. Even though I'm in a gunner seat, I have no physical gun to control within this seat. So the gun is somewhere else on the ship, which means I have to enter the remote turret. Same process here. We look down here, we find our power, we turn our power on. But we can't do anything, we're just looking around. Because we are not currently in the remote turret view. So, for this, we have to enter it. So we go down, we find it, we go to enter remote turret. We are now in a remote turret. We have all the same controls. Gyro on, aligning, aiming, relative, all the same stuff. But there are a couple differences. Some of these turrets can be repositioned. In this case, the Scorpius is currently the only one that can. So to do this, we simply press S on our keyboard. This will move the turret to a bottom rear facing position. Kinda pointless, but it's there. We press S to go back up. And then to exit the turret, we press Y. So there's an easier way to do this. There are hotkeys you can set up, and I will show you a picture of the hotkey in the upper right here. In my settings video, I cover this, but for me, it's currently insert INS on my keyboard. Instead of having to look down and go to this, I simply go to INS, Now I'm in there. I press Y. I'm out. INS in. Y out. It's a lot better, isn't it? Alright, here we are inside the A2 Hercules. This is the co-pilot seat. This also has a remote turret, but this has two of them, so we're going to cover that because it's a little bit different. But the concepts are the same. We're going to turn on the power. Power is now on. We're going to look down at our terminal here. This terminal is different. We have remote turret, remote turret. This has two different remote turrets. So to enter them, it's the same thing. We highlight the top one. We are now at the front remote turret that can aim forward and backwards. And if we exit it and we go to the bottom icon, we are now at the top back turret, which can just aim at the rear of the ship. But there's got to be a better way, right? There's something else we can do. Answer is yes. So we exit out. Instead of having to do that, we hit our remote turret hotkey. And then we hit our remote turret 2 hotkey. Just like that, we are going from the front to the back. Isn't that way better than having to go through all this menu crap? I think so. Just keep that one in mind too. The biggest advance that turrets have is an auto aim. It's actually a gimbal system. And I'm going to put a highlight over my screen because you can barely see it. But anything within this circle will be targeted by the turrets. This is what makes these turrets so effective and why they are as powerful as they are. So, starting off the bat here, we're going to take one burst, aiming dead center at my target, and everything hit. But now we're not going to aim at the target. We're going to aim away from the target. And it still hit. And we're going to aim away from the target again. And still hit. Again. And again. So, as you can see, the gimbal, so long as I'm in the relative area, right? If I'm aiming relatively where he is, the gimbals are going to take over and do the rest. Now, this has a downside. The downside is that it's going to aim where they were, not where they are. And this is why being close to your target is important. So please, Irish, back yourself up to about 1,500, 1,400-ish meters away from me. So at this range, he's almost to the maximum range of repeaters, which is about 1,500-ish. He's around 1,420 right now. The bolt still has to travel to the target, so we're going to do the same thing. We're going to try it. We're going to fire one, hit, but you can hear how long that took. Hit. 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 Same thing. It's still guiding, but it's going to where he is, alright? So if he's moving, it's going to go to where he was. So Irish, I want you to just strafe yourself left and right. So around 1.2, 1K-ish is a sweet spot. And if he comes even closer than that, then he's going to be toast. So that is, in general, how you work these turrets. So we'll go over the absolute basics again. So Irish will stand still. I will start from the rear. The contact is to the front. I activate VJoy. I acquire the target. I lock the target. I press Q to activate relative mode. I'm now using relative mode to aim. It's that simple.
Where do you rent the A2?
Yep.
Oh, you should have one for free if it's free flight.
I don't see a.
Oh yeah, it is free flight still. Damn.
Where does that end now?
It ends tomorrow.
Wait, I don't.
Like
I don't
9
I don't
o'clock
see,
on the.
I don't see an A2.
Oh, sorry, I must be wrong then. I haven't checked, so I wouldn't know.
Where do you
I was
rent
just-
it?
Charging up.
I think Crusader or Horizon.
I'm getting a full capacitor, then I'm going to re-engage it, guy.
Yeah.
Getting full capacitor, I'm going to re-engage. Getting full capacitor, I'm going to re-engage here. You lost the engine?
You may not dodge these missiles.
No, just do your best. Scorpius is destroyed.
Any gunners available in Grimhex?
I can gun for you.
I'm available, but I need a re-invite to the party.
See if I can get my ship pulled.
Okay, full charge of my capacitor.
Yeah. This dude is fucking claiming every goddamn ship he's got in his hangar here.
There, he's dead.
I think I took out some of his shit and he's not shooting anymore.
He's shooting, he's trying to shoot you guys, I think.
Nah, I think he's killing the Titan, but my character is freaking the fuck out, and now is like running everywhere. I can't move. Oh, okay, this is interesting.
Diesel.
I mean, I don't know if I'm like
Backing off
desync
or
Death
shield
Wish. You
now?
see this? Like, I can't. This is insane.
Well, mine, you're really prone on the ground. I don't know if you're getting knocked back by wind or what. You're right under that A2.
Yeah, I'm running towards you, so it's not where I actually am.
I'm gonna hide under this A90.
Poopy
Oh
is
my
down.
god, dude.
You finally got that fucker?
What are they doing?
Jable Hurley.
See, if that was so good, like we both came up on him at the same time.
None of these people are pushing the ground. What are they up to?
Wow, that dude got thoroughly bred.